Oh man, there we go. Good evening, everybody. We've made it another week. We're here. We're doing it. Is your door open?
No.
I'm just echoey tonight, I guess. How are y'all? Welcome.
I can't open.
Let me forward you over the easier way to do it. So good evening, everybody. Welcome to another DIlem-Monday. Just getting some critical information sent over to other members of the panel here. We've made it. We're doing it. We're making it happen.
I was about to say, it's been a while since it was the three of us.
Yeah. Dave is out, doing his job of, doing the comedy. So like we love that for him.
List, guess what? Didn't need to see it. There's only two people I know, like Jaden said.
I think like most of them are from literally one grouping of people, but
it's the Black Sox.
Well, yeah. So might as well start there before we jump into the full topic. It's been an interesting week in baseball, everybody.
Sure has.
Especially in the world of being Yankee fans, and being fans of the sport first and foremost. And I think the news that came at the pretty much hours after we got off the air, which is why we missed it. The MLB commissioner said that a lifetime ban is exactly that. It ends at the end of your life, and you should be reinstated into baseball upon your death. This is a controversial topic that has been thoroughly debated for, I would say, the last 40 years or so in baseball, with a few key instances in the mix here. And I think we should hit the ground running. Do we start in Chicago or do we start in Cincinnati?
I mean, the first part of the thing is, I understand what the commissioner said. It's a lifetime ban. But I also I don't know if it should be a forever ban versus a lifetime ban. When I guess that's the debate at all. These guys did stuff that, especially Pete Rose. I mean, let's just go to Pete first before we go to Joe, because I think we're all going to find that Joe Jackson,
because that I have been an adamant,
probably been able to get in there.
Yeah.
Especially at this point. But Pete Rose is a different case, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but he bet on baseball as a manager. And I don't care that he bet to win. It doesn't matter. Because when you're the manager, I might have a pitcher go an extra inning that I shouldn't have. Or I might bring in a relief pitcher or have him go 2 extra innings that I shouldn't have had. And there's one thing that in baseball, especially at that period of time, and in any period of time, you're not allowed to bet on baseball if you play baseball. And he knew the rules. Plus, there's some other things about him. He had relations.
He's a bad guy
with a 15-year-old girl, which in itself is statutory rape. And he got all upset because people said it was 14-year-old, and he said, "No, she was 15."
Oh, God, like it's any better?
Yeah, like it's so much better. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. He was a cokehead. He did a lot of really bad things. He wasn't a nice person. Now,
Pete Rose was no Rose.
Yeah, no, he wasn't.
More like a thorn, basically.
And I guess
yeah.
Yes, he's the most prolific base hitter of all time. And he was a winner as a player. He made his teams better. Both Philadelphia and Cincinnati were better because he was on it. And surely without the betting scandal and really the statutory rape thing, it would be a no-brainer to put him into the Hall of Fame. But I guess it just comes down to, I think every case is specific to its case. I don't think that the lifting of the ban itself, just because you're dead, is okay. I don't think Pete Rose should ever be in the Hall of Fame. His stats are and his accomplishments are. His face shouldn't be. But that's my opinion. I'm throwing it to James.
Well, here's the deal. Ty Cobb was also a massive racist, yet he's in the Hall of Fame. He wasn't the best person in the whole wide world, but you can't help but deny that. What?
He murdered somebody also.
He's still,
Yup.
he's still in. I mean, but anyway, obviously, his first ballot, he would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer with all of his career stats, what he meant to the city of Cincinnati. He helped lead to the Phillies to the first World Series championship in franchise history in 1980. But obviously, when I look at Hall of Fame, obviously the stats are great, but also is how you represent the game too. Like you're supposed to represent it with a lot of respect. And obviously, Pete Rose was not that guy. But I feel like if he was able to admit that he did gamble and at least apologize and not lie to everyone's face.
For 20 years or whatever it was.
Exactly. He might have been in 5-10 years ago if he just admitted that you gambled on baseball. I'm so sorry that I destroyed my reputation. I'm sorry that I destroyed the game based off of my gambling. Probably would have had a little bit of leeway if he just admitted that he did it instead of lying.
And the commissioner died. Let's the guy that was going after him died.
Yeah.
During he made it. I mean, look, I don't know. The guy probably wasn't the healthiest guy anyway.
Oh, look who joined us in early.
That was there. Terrific.
So once we're out of our baseball discussion, yes, we have the man who is running the Collinsville Music on Main series with us this evening, Mr. Dennis Meralda. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
So we
win like, what are you, about 7 bands? I have never seen a busier man in my life. Every day I see he's playing in a different person's band.
Yeah. Probably the most frequently asked question I get is, how many bands are you in? And usually I have to say, well, it's not a simple answer. Let's just say I'm pretty busy.
Hey, better than the alternative.
Yeah, right. Well, none of I'm not with any band that plays, 3 or 4 times a week or anything like that. Most of the groups I'm involved with play maybe once or twice a month. So keeps me pretty busy.
Well, let me ask you this question. Since we're on the baseball topic, before we get to the band topic, are you a big baseball fan?
No, not really.
I guess it's just us then.
We're all alone. We're all
for it.
But
well, we're just kind of going over the Pete Rose
this week's news
situation. So James, finish your end of this.
Which part? In terms of like the Hall of Fame, stats are great. How you represent yourself, the fan base, people who love the sport. That's who I think should be a Hall of Famer, which probably explains why Curt Schilling is also not in it. Great postseason pitcher, helped the Red Sox lead to their first World Series title in 86 years. But if he kept his mouth shut, he'd probably be in by now.
I agree. Corey, what's your 2 cents on the issue?
So on Pete Rose in particular, I think that he was an abominable human being. I think he was a phenomenal player. And with that in mind, though, I have to kind of agree on the consensus that Pete Rose's name should never be inside of the Hall of Fame. I think his case in particular it's the cardinal rule. He broke the cardinal rule. You do not bet on baseball. And then on top of the other, again, atrocious things that he admitted to, he was a horrible human being. The guy, though, I do feel the most sorry for, who I feel like is finally getting some justice, is Shoeless Joe Jackson. That man, if in a modern context, that man would have never have been allowed to have been mistreated in the way that he was. He was not all there. He was not. He got taken advantage of by the mob, by the team.
I'm cool with Shoeless Joe getting in, especially because the rule came after his scandal. So I have some room. The rest of the guys on that team should never see the light of day. But
Absolutely.
I'll go with that one. But since we got Dennis on, and I know he came from out of his way to do this with us, I wanna go maybe cover some baseball later too. Dennis, tell us how you took over. I know Bill started this about 5 years ago, and I know last year you kind of took over half of it. So give us the resume on how this transpired.
Well, as you know, Bill started about 5 years ago. I think it was the first year of COVID, and people wanted to get outside and be with other people, and an outdoor concert was the perfect way to do it. So he came up with this, idea of Music on Main, and he started putting some of the shows together, and kind of grew from there. I think the season got extended. There 1 year they were doing it Thursday and Saturday, but I think they realized that was a little bit overkill, especially since Canton also puts on a Thursday concert series over at Mills Pond. So now it's just Saturdays, and that's just fine. So
I remember when Bill, Bill's a good friend of mine, a good friend of the show, and a good, he's Mr. Collinsville. Him and Lucy walking around every day, and his good morning of wake up to Bill and Lucy. But I remember he was talking to me, and he said, I got to bring music back. This is crazy. Because I don't think people realize what Bill was going through at that time. He was working in the nursing homes. So he had on the masks and the gloves.
The chemicals.
I don't think to this day he could still smell right out of his nose from all the stuff he was doing. He was kind of heroic. I think he went, 160 days before one of the people even got sick in his nursing home. And he phenomenal. But he missed playing music, and he missed seeing music, and he did a great thing. He put music on Maine back, and he brought a lot of bands who weren't playing at all at that point. He gave them a
platform.
Yeah, he gave them a platform, and some people were doing online and things like that. But it was great, and I was excited last year when he told me he was handing over half of it, I guess, last year to you, and that you took over the full thing this year. So what out of your mind reason would you want to do the whole thing?
Well, I'm retired, and I do a lot of volunteer work. I work with the Canton Land Trust, doing some trail work and stuff like that, and I've done, like volunteer work at soup kitchens and work with refugees. So, volunteering is, something that I like to do. I like to keep busy, and it was also kind of a natural fit because I have so many bands that I'm affiliated with and have contacts with and know so many musicians. So it was kind of a good fit, I would think.
No, I think it was.
I'd be inclined to agree.
Yeah, I know. I was happy when he said that you were doing it, and we played Corey has played in each one, and I think we've opened up the season each year of the 5 years that it's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first 3 years, I don't know how we got through the weather and it was raining.
That was funny. There was the 2 years in a row that were like complete total opposites. The 1 year it was 40 degrees outside. I'm wearing an overcoat on stage. That's not like an easy thing. Yeah. Like you're like, but that's, and then the next year I remember it was, and thank God I was wearing all white because it was boiling hot. And I was like, are they going to cancel this over the heat?
Well, then we had the pouring rain. Remember the tent was collapsing and the water was
right. Yeah.
So
yeah, well, that's
last year it was perfect.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Last year when my band, the night we were supposed to play, it was one of those really iffy nights, a real tough call. Should we risk putting our stuff out there? So we put up a pop-up, and we kind of set up underneath a pop-up and started misting, and was like, oh, well, maybe it'll clear up. No, it didn't ever happen. We never ended up playing. So this year, I came up with an alternative location so that if a band has dedicated this night to perform in Collinsville, it's not a total washout. So I made arrangements with Lisa at the Crown and Hammer so that, if the band is amenable and they want to play inside, there's an option. And that's great because some of the people come from great distances. I try to get a lot of local musicians, but we also get some of the bands come from distances. And, if they make the trip all the way here and then have to turn around and not play. So at least we've got an option there for an indoor venue.
No, I think that's great. Yeah, James, you were at our gig last year. We had perfect weather, right?
Oh yeah, it was like sunny, not too hot, not too cold. It was beautiful.
Yeah, we finally we hit one, but and with Dennis' point, there's all kinds of bands there that are playing. In the case of the Dilemma band, Corey plays 200 gigs a year, and he travels all over the country. And for us, we don't play in Connecticut that much, especially not in the Farmington Valley area, so this gives us a great chance to go back to where Corey learned how to play. This is the town that was so kind and nice and has always contributed to his growth as a person and stuff. But there's other guys who, this event, this is a big deal. You got a lot of people that show up. I mean, there's chairs down that entire block going down by the water. I mean, it's pretty cool, right, Dennis?
It makes a big difference when they close down that little stretch of Main Street right in front of the museum, because it really changes the whole atmosphere. Now you can walk around, you can set up your chairs in the street there, and it's much more pedestrian friendly. It used to be when they weren't blocking off the street, a bunch of guys on motorcycles would come in and rum, it was like crazy. But now, since they started closing down Main Street, that really made the event much nicer.
I was glad to hear that Lisa was so amenable to be able to let the bands come in, especially if it was a bad weather situation. Because like I said, we're booked. Well, Corey, you're booked through November every single Saturday night. I think.
I don't think I have a single Saturday off.
Yeah, and most
Please
Sundays
kill me.
what?
And
a lot of Thursdays. So, if we have that night, we don't have that many Saturdays free. I don't want to not play. I want to play. If we're there and we set up, I want to play. I'm the one who grabs all the crap and sets it all up. So once I put it in the car, we're playing. So I'm ecstatic. Either way, I'd love it to be outdoors because we have a great light show that we want to show off this year, and the boys are ready to play. But if we have to go to the Crown and Hammer, it's been a real long time since you played at the Crown.
My last time playing at the Crown was a couple weeks before the plague. Be a nice little turnaround here.
Mm-hmm.
But you did. We went to go see Driving Iris a few weeks ago.
Oh, they are. I love them. I love them so much. They're my favorite.
They're such a good band, and Peter.
The
and
best set list.
And Denny and everybody, just Tony. They told Corey to go up there to play Run Around with them.
Leanne, I have a gift for you, by the way, if you're tuning in.
Yes.
And if you come on Saturday.
Yes. So Dennis, what are you doing to promote? I know that we're doing some stuff like what's the Canton version and everything.
What's the plan?
Yeah, what's the plan? We want everybody in the whole county to show up.
Well, you probably, or people should probably know that Canton Main Street, it's an organization that puts on a lot of the events that happen in Collinsville. You know, the champagne walk that they have in the winter, and you know, I'm only recently associated with them, so I can't name off all the different things that have their fingers in, but they have kind of taken on raising the money, the funding for the bands, and so that organization deserves a lot of credit for supporting that, and I think they have a lot of volunteers that do things like advertising and publicity, and so this is my first year, you know, running it, so I'm kind of learning as I go, but they have a whole organization supporting this
Sure.
Music on Main, and also the I'm also booking the farmers market, which is Sunday morning. The bands play from 11 to 1.
Okay.
So
Oh,
that's,
You're doing the farmers market as well. Okay.
yeah, it's mostly solo acts, but we've got a few acoustic duos and trios, and even a band or two.
So I have played the farmers market a few times. Never under convenient circumstances. I've both times I have played, I have been coming from a gig and I'm on 3 or 4 hours of sleep.
Mhm.
But you know what? I love
Where did
Canton.
we come from last year was crazy. I remember we were coming from. Where were we?
But like it again, I remember I had like 3-4 hours maybe at max of sleep. We were coming from was it I'm trying to, it was a bike and beer show, I think.
Yeah, it was definitely a bike and beer show, and I think we were in like Pennsylvania or something.
Yeah, and we had a show afterwards, after the bike and beer, and
From like Philadelphia.
yes, it was Philadelphia. Oh, that was with the Ray's Happy Birthday Bar Day.
Yeah. So we were coming home from Philadelphia. Corey set up in like 10 minutes, got through almost the entire time. In the last 5 minutes, it started pouring rain. So,
And God bless Bill Benson again. He was willing to cover for me if I needed it. If I like could not get on my own 2 feet, he was willing to be like,
yeah, but you know
go,
what?
I'm here.
$120 in tips that day.
Yeah.
Like, besides getting paid, people just kept coming over and like throwing money at you. It was pretty cool.
Also, local honey. You know, that's maybe I'm a little hippy dippy on this stuff, but the local honey is the one you want to go with to prevent your allergies from getting too bad, because that's all your local pollen, all the things that are going to get you. That's why you go to your farmer's market, baby.
Yeah, no. So
Save the bees.
give us some of the new bands that had never played before that are going to be there this year.
Well, you know, most of the bands, I'm looking at my list here, my cheat sheet, and most of the bands have played before. So as far as new, well, one of them is CT Groove, which is like a rock soul disco band. That's new. Eric Paradine from
Yeah.
Lasalle Open Mic. He's going to be doing a set with a band.
Former DIlem-Monday host.
Yes, Eric was a host he was one of the original hosts of this show.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and well, obviously this Saturday, Corey Riemann and the Dilemma Band.
And you pronounced it right.
All right, Riemann. Yeah, I was a German major, so that's the way I would pronounce it in German. So Riemann.
What you mean, like?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we speaking of LaSalle and hosting, so Corey has a pretty cool honor on Friday night. Stacy had asked Corey if he would be the guest host of LaSalle open mic on Friday. Because we said, what a great way to promote Saturday's show if Corey could host Friday's open mic. So we will be every person there. By the way, Saturday, the Dilemma Band will be playing. And on Friday nights, Lasalle open mic, you might get some Dilemma people, band
Showing
members
up.
might show up
Mhm.
to play 2 songs of original music or what have you. And we're excited about that. Most people probably do know from this area. 15 years or so ago, Corey came to LaSalle Market for the first time with a guitar and a harmonica in his hand. And it was absolutely dreadful.
It was bad. It was not good.
You got to start somewhere.
Exactly.
Actually, wait, real quickly. With that in mind, I picked up a guitar because of Pete Townsend. Today, the man who said, "I hope I die before I get old," turned 80 years old today. So to my guitar hero, the guy that made me say I want 6 strings and a lot of hell with me, Pete Townsend, happy birthday, you bad son of a bitch.
So we have to blame Pete for the 102 guitars in our house. Is that the person who we have?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you broke 100 now?
Over 100 things with strings.
Yes.
Wow.
600 strings right there. If not a little bit more than that.
And still have to come over one day because we also have four full drum kits as well.
Wow.
I'll probably be there next Monday, actually.
Yes, next Monday, the barbecue of DIlem-Monday.
Yes, the Memorial Day.
Are you actually doing a barbecue, by the way, or we're just saying we're doing a barbecue?
I know what I think we should do. We should at least, to the best of our abilities, do a barbecue, or if nothing else, barbecue before and then go on air. But
hey, I'm fine with that. I do have a Memorial Day story though. One time I went to your barbecue and I broke your chair.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. So our friend Ian, James, and I, we wanted to, and my parents were not home, but we wanted to have we wanted to have the most dad-like Memorial Day party of all time. So we're talking like white New Balance shoes with white socks up to our calves at the grill. And we were having Hawaiian shirts. It was great. Like, we're having a great time, and then all of a sudden there's just a thud, and it is James on the already somewhat broken chair.
Ian still has that picture, by the way.
Oh, it's on my phone somewhere.
Oh, he's going to use it against me, especially at my wedding probably next year.
I hope so. I really hope. Be like,
all right,
that's my
redirecting. I'm redirecting again. I'm going back.
All right, it had to be brought up though.
How many of these are you playing drums in? Of these?
And back to the list.
Back to the list. Well, let me see. Lost Together on June 7th, which is it's a 6-piece classic rock band, basically.
Hell yeah.
Playing with them. And I'm going to be helping Eric Paradine on July 26th.
Great.
And also I play with the Myron Usman Trio, which is August 30th, which is a jazz trio. So, by the way, one thing I wanted to mention is someone had asked about the covering for the slab. That's one of the things that the Canton Main Street organization has kind of on their to-do list, is to try to come up with a covering for the slab. And what they envision is pretty spectacular. It would be way larger than actually the slab itself. So it would go out like 4 feet on either side. So that way, even if there's a little bit of wind, because if it's just covering you, a least bit of wind, you're still getting wet. So,
Yeah.
and so I don't know too much more about that. Just know that they have this wonderful plan. Where all that money is going to come from, I have no clue about that. If anybody else knows, will enlighten us. But
I think that we could start a GoFundMe, even that throughout this, because it would be nice, certainly.
Yeah, it's on the table.
We put one of those gazebos in our backyard last year, and that's great because even if it's bad weather, you can still sit outside and I think ours isn't quite as big. I think it's 20 by 12 or something, but it's it's very nice. It was a great.
Listen, we did our opening ceremonies for the Olympic party. James was there.
I was. Good time.
I think I'm still drinking that beer.
We don't have many weekends that we're home or many nights that we're home.
But dear Lord, when we saw that we were home for those opening ceremonies, we threw together a party. We made it happen. I made some kind of.
Last year, Corey, we counted. We stayed in hotel rooms over 150 nights last year.
Wow.
So
it's
last week we were what was it, Thursday night we did a Harvard we were
a Harvard graduation party, which was cool. They
wanted
to do they didn't want to do the in our backyard graduation party, lawn sign. The graduate, she's like, I want a band and I want to do it at a rock club and I want it to be the best night of my life. And I'm like,
that's awesome.
It was a lot of fun, and for the boys in the band, it was really good because there was probably like 90-something girls and maybe six dudes. So it was one of the better
good ratio
parties. And I'll tell you, bands who don't play private parties, you're missing the boat, guys. You're missing the boat because not only is it more fun in some cases, the tip that we got is better than most bands get to play for a 3-hour time period. So the dad came over and gave each guy in the band an extra $100 bill at the end of the night, plus the tips that were in the thing. So it was a lot of fun. Yeah, the Cantab Lounge, by the way, in Cambridge, they have, I think, music 7 days a week, right, Cor?
They absolutely do. They are the last of a dying breed in the Boston area. 7 days a week. They've got jams, they've got bands, they've got acoustic nights, they've got 2 stages.
Yeah, one downstairs, one upstairs. We had the upstairs stage, but there was another band down there.
And the same sound guy is running both of them. And by the way, might I add, diligently.
Yeah, he did a great job. He had his
iPad. He had his 2 mixes. He was upstairs. He was good. You need anything while I'm here? I'm good. A little more of this, a little less of that. You're beautiful. Thank you. He would disappear downstairs, probably saying, you need a little of this, you need a little of that. And he'd come back up. It was great. And there's nothing, we've gotten to in the complete opposite of the stage we played on Saturday night.
Don't.
No, but I was just saying, it's super fun sometimes being on a tiny little stage, and the energy of the volume, controlled everyone at the same, like you're listening to your car really loud, kind of that. That's a hell of a feeling. And then sometimes you have on the other hand, the full stage and you're running around and there's, 3,000 people and in the rain listening to you and you get to play Freebird and as a bunch of fireworks start going off. That was pretty sick.
Yeah, there might have been 4,000 or 5,000 people there on what was it, Saturday night?
Saturday night, the Scouting America, the Con Jam 2025 in Orange, Connecticut.
They had
no.
Screens on the side, big stage, and again, there was probably 4,000 or 5,000 people there. It was huge, and the last song of the night we're on stage. We're timing this out. We know that we have a drop dead time of 9:30 because there are going to be fireworks going off. We're on stage. I've got my watch on. I'm like, whatever. We decide to, between what was planned to be the last song and the actual last song, we're like, listen, it would be a lot cooler than ending Freebird with a bunch of fire and then the fireworks. Let's play Free Fallin'. Get 2.5 minutes into this. That way we start playing Freebird. We know and that solo comes in about 3 minutes into the song, 4 minutes into the song. If we play this song, get into the next song perfectly with enough time, those fireworks are going to go off and son of a bitch, it worked. Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. All right, Dennis, as a drummer, are you a hater of Freebird or I'll put up with it?
No, I love it. It's great.
Yes.
Talking about playing for fireworks. So I was a military musician. I was a Army musician. I toured with the Army band in Europe for 3 years, and then I was in the Connecticut National Guard band for 35 years. And one of the things we would often do on 4th of July is we would play some kind of 4th of July concert, and they would have fireworks. And one of the traditional things to do is the 1812 overture. And there's a part where they have cannons firing off. It's supposed to about the war, whatever war that was taking place. And so sometimes we did it where the National Guard actually provided actual howitzers to put in the cannon fire. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
That's sick.
It was.
It is. So when you look, like, rock stars have engaged in recording indulgences in their not in their personal lives, but in their recording lives. Brian Wilson had animals on Pet Sounds, obviously Pet Sounds, but things. But then you look at like what some of these classical composers had written into their pieces. Oh, there's a canon here. Make sure that there's a canon at this point, or the things, instruments that needed to be invented for some of these classical pieces to happen. It's crazy. So, like, again, and maybe this is a future DIlem-Monday episode, but classical composers were just as weird as musicians on and off the stage. I'm like, these guys, Mozart, like they didn't even touch the surface in Amadeus. He was a freak.
That was actually a really good movie.
I love Amadeus. So
that's the dude from Animal House.
It's hysterical.
Wait, what movie is this?
Amadeus. So it was based off a play, I believe it was. I think it was originally a play.
I just know it's the guy from Animal House that plays Amadeus.
Which
The
guy?
The not fat one. No, that's not the young guys, of the freshmen.
Not Flounder. Right?
Not Flounder. Not Flounder.
She.
The one that ends up with the mayor's daughter. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So God bless Andrew Brochu, my high school choir teacher. Whenever that man was sick and we had a sub, we watched Amadeus. And so I don't think I've ever actually watched that movie in sequence in its entirety in one sitting. But my Lord, have I watched that movie in 45/90 minute sittings. I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never seen the entire movie in like start to finish. But know what? It's still one of my favorite movies.
There we go. So here's the next question. When are we going to make a decision on Friday? I'm just hoping, and I'm going with it, it's going to be beautiful out. But is it a 4 o'clock call or a 5 o'clock call where you say, hey, Lisa?
Oh, so Saturday. You mean on Saturday?
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this was Bill's policy, and I fully agree with it. It's the band's call if you want to play outside, because you're the one that's putting thousands of dollars of equipment out there, and if you want to put it out there and take a shot, go for it. If you want to call it and cancel, or if you want to play at the Crown, then I will we'll get in touch with Lisa. We'll make the arrangements for playing at the Crown as an alternate location. But it's basically up to the band.
Okay. Now, and I was doing, obviously for us, but I wanted so everybody else knows exactly that. So that's the policy, everybody. So it will be the band's choice. They'll let Dennis know time of and say, I don't think I'm taking a chance, or hell no, we're playing. I don't care.
Yep.
Our drummer was just calling me, actually. I'll give him a call at the end. But we're excited. We've been trying to advertise the heck out of it. We have our social media director, Steph. She put it out there probably on like 25 different forums. Corey and I put it out there. I think for the first time in a million years, we might even put some posters up. We haven't done that in a long time. But,
But it's Collinsville.
It's Collinsville, so it's kind of like cool. We'll go old school on this.
Collinsville looks good with posters.
Yeah, and you know what? To really be serious, we really don't play in this area very often. All right, James, you don't see us around very often here.
No, not really. It's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah. Coro plays solo around here on occasion, but like Wednesday, we're playing in Hamilton College in Clinton, New York. Sunday, Corey's playing in Greenwich, full band for a private party. So, we play in Boston a lot. We play in Albany a lot. We play in Philly a lot. Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, a ton. But we don't play in the Hartford County area very often. So for the people that ask us all the time, when are you going to be here, guys?
We're here.
Corey and the Dilemma Band will be playing in Collinsville on Saturday. And we're like, Corey, you learned how to play here.
Oh, absolutely. It's so like this whole weekend for me. I'm excited again because as we're mentioning, I don't get to spend nearly as much time as I used to in Collinsville. I used to spend, every Friday night I was there. It's where I learned not just about how to be a musician. I learned how to be a person in Collinsville. Like, it was one of the first places I didn't get. What?
A drunken artist? No, I'm kidding.
No, but like,
basically.
no, but yeah, like I learned how to be a person there. I learned how to be. It was the first place. One of the first places I never got or for the most part, I never got patronized by people, and I got a place to be an adult for the first time. It was a place I got respected, not based off of what my age was or wasn't. It was I got a chance to really build who I was as a musician, hone my skills, mostly without judgment, and it's a place that's cultivated it. I remember the old T-shirts that said Collinsville, a drinking town with an art problem, and there's something about just being there that just always. Not for nothing. Here's my stupid history fun facts of the day. When the first exploration of the North Pole was happening, do you know where all the equipment came from? The Collins Axe Factory. Every spike, pike, hammer, nail, everything that went up for the discovery of, or the first, voyage, journey to the North Pole was done with equipment made in that factory that we take advantage of, that we just look at. There's the antique store. I think of the antique store, but when you think about what was happening in that place, Collinsville was a city. Collinsville had if you look at it, again, it was an industrial town, had the Collins Axe Factory, like the workforce lived in Collinsville. It was thriving. They had a trolley stop. They had a train stop. It was crazy. And then and the artist came in.
The Collinsville is one of those great secrets that the funny thing about Canton itself, Canton really doesn't want the rest of the Connecticut to know about Collinsville all that much. They want to kind of keep it a little secret for their own pleasures in one end. But if you're a couple and you just want to go away for the weekend and spend some time in a beautiful little town that has lots of bars and restaurants
with just enough cell signal.
Yeah, with just enough cell signal.
Oh yeah.
What a great little place. I mean, it's such a beautiful town. And, especially the music on Main throughout the summer, it's going to be there all summer long. You're going to have some great bands that do fairly good, cool, really different acts throughout the whole time. And plus LaSalle Market has the 2 little bed and bath, the 2 rooms now, right, that you can rent out.
Oh yeah, over LaSalle there. Oh, plus the ice cream store's open now too.
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
I believe so. I believe the ice cream store is going to be.
It's terrible to miss out on this weekend. This would be a good time to open it, certainly.
Yeah, I had asked him at one point, and one of the employees said maybe June, but if they're open, that would be great.
Yeah,
maybe I'm just blowing smoke out my ass here, but like now I hope I'm not.
Tell us you better have it open. Tell Bill Green that they better get it open. But you get such good restaurants over there, and Lisa's Crown and Hammer, a fantastic restaurant.
It is open. Confirmed from the source, from the LaSalle Market page itself.
All right.
It is open.
That's always the best. Well, not the best part of going to the concert there, but one of the good things about going there is getting your ice cream.
It's the part that I'm always very jealous of everyone else about, because I have to play and I'm watching all of you people eat ice cream and drink beer, and I usually get to drink beer, but I don't get to eat ice cream when I'm on stage.
Drinking beer, do you not do?
So that first Music on Main, when everyone was still in super COVID mode, and I do have fond memories of the Plague, and one of them was who cares about open containers in the middle of the street in Collinsville? Who cares that you just came from the Crown and Hammer and walked across the street with a beer and went on stage?
Well, the funny thing about the pandemic and music, there were a lot of bands that just shut down, and God bless them, they did what they wanted to do. They were safe.
And probably a lot of them were like, yes, we can stop. Yes.
A lot of wives and husbands were really happy that they
or horrified that they actually had to deal with each other.
But the one thing that Dilemma did that was different than others, we actually became a much bigger band because of the pandemic. I think I've told the story a few times, but one of the
You're starting to become your father in that regard, but continue.
It's called the Bash. And the Bash it is the largest booking agency of any of the bookings for bands and solo acts. And because no one else was really playing, and we got tons of private parties. And we were getting private parties in Greenwich, in the Hamptons, the Poconos. We were getting these huge, large private parties.
And they were physically large too, which because you know what? If you're a bride, you've been dreaming about your wedding day since you were like a 4-year-old girl. You're making that wedding happen. You chose a date. You sent out invitations. I don't care if it has to be in a gigantic tent with this, that, and the other thing. They made it happen.
Yeah, we did the whole 6 foot away. We did whatever they told us to do, and
mic spray and
we did the mic sprays. We had all the stuff, but during that whole period of time when no one else played, we kept playing. And knock on wood, no one in the band ever got COVID, so that was great. But because of it, since 2020, we've been the #1 ranked band on the Bash for covers and actually 7 other categories for the past 5 years. So where some other bands, COVID might have hurt them badly, that was the greatest thing that ever happened. And then all the colleges started booking us, and we have such a unique base of audience. We play yacht clubs, country clubs, sororities, fraternities. We play the bike and beer tour, anywhere between 9 and 15 events of the 26 every single year. We play carnivals, festivals. we do a lot of ski resorts. It's a very unique
for non-outdoorsy people. We play a lot of outdoorsy events.
Yes, exactly.
Please don't ask me about my golf game. I'm terrible.
I'm bad too, so it's okay.
We need to go golfing then.
An excuse to drink.
That is all that.
But,
Yes, I would
just-
like one of those transfusions, please.
Corey, how often do people ask you? People really want to hear rock music at colleges?
It's people. If they wanted to hear top 40 and club music, they would go to a club. These frats, they want to hear rock music, and they want to hear country music. They want to hear, there's something. And again, maybe it's the whole. Maybe perhaps it is the whole Animal House thing. This fraternity image of the band being there, having a rock band playing Zeppelin and Skinner. Know what? That's something their parents, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, their grandparents were doing. There's something embedded in, there's a feeling that you have when there's a band on the stage and you're out there and there's cans of beer being shotgunned and this, that, or the other thing. Listen, I've been held at water gun point while I was on stage, and this girl came up to me and she told me I was being held up and to open my mouth. And well, again, thank God I didn't get like dosed or anything either. Like that there wasn't like acid or something in there, because that would have been a whole different gig. But like, that's great. Like, I always enjoy those gigs. I don't drive to those ones.
Well, what I was also going to say, so we had a substitute guitar player this week who is our sound man, Cliff. And Cliff usually plays in a jazz fusion band. So,
and they're very cool.
Which is very cool, but he had to learn 35 rock songs in a period of 3 days.
Oh my God.
Luckily, Cliff's a very good player, and he got it all. But there was one thing I said to him. I said, look, you got to learn Freebird. Not many bands are going to play Freebird, and not that many are going to play it well. We do. And I will guarantee you, if you play a great Freebird, we will get a great tip. Trust me on this. Listen to me. I've been doing this a while. The end of the night, we play it. What was Cliff's words?
Gee whiz.
Gee whiz. He walked away with the most money he's ever made playing in a gig in his life.
There is nothing more fun than breaking a jazz player into their absolute primal selves in a rock band, making them just like break all the rules that you were taught. Everything that came before it, everything they told you to do, break them. Stop it. Be fun.
So, Dennis, when was the first time you ever played Freebird?
To be honest with you, I don't think I ever played it.
Whoa! Well,
I do so many different kinds of music. Sunday I did a gig with the Dixieland band, and Saturday I did an acoustic rock trio. I play with a lot of big jazz bands, so I don't think I ever played it, to be honest with you.
Well, you're gonna have to just sit in on one of our gigs then on that.
Yeah.
By the way, Corey, send an invite to Michael.
To Lenosa, let's get Lenosa on the.
Let's get the man, the myth, and the legend on if he can.
This is turning into NAMM. We're gonna have too many drummers.
Yeah.
So when we went to the NAMM show this year, the Sano Studios Dilemma Band delegation had 5 drummers?
Yeah.
Half of our tickets went to drummers.
It was so. Dennis, have you ever been to NAMM?
No.
All right.
No.
Well, if you'd like to go next year, we will invite you and give you a ticket. It is every musician's, like, what would you call it, Corey? A dream?
I was gonna say, it's like, I'm imagining what the state fair for a musician who was also Hunter Thompson might feel like. It is absolutely just, it is everything all at once. It is the most cathartic feeling of being a musician. You are surrounded by, again, 500,000 people throughout this whole weekend, all there to go look at the newest and biggest thing. And you're just
And
all...
the drum section is obviously the loudest, the biggest. It's in the main hallway, and every company that's ever existed, wanted to exist, is there. And you just have guys banging it out.
It's like, because I don't know how these people are actually sampling these things, because God knows I can't hear. One of the few times I've ever been coaxed into playing drums at the NAMM show demo booth, I'm like, I can't hear what I'm doing. So maybe people think I don't suck. This is great.
You did, so don't worry about
it. Continue, whoever was making noise there.
No, but so we mentioned Michael came with us, and his dad, who's also a drummer, Fred Lanosa, they both came with us to NAMM, and they would disappear for hours. We didn't even see him through most of the show because he just wanted to be the DW booth. Fred tried to buy out every drum that was there, I think. But we still have an invitation to go see the SGC factory over in
SJC.
I said SJC in Massachusetts. Where's the old time village?
Sturbridge.
Yeah, SJC makes their American drums right in Sturbridge.
James, did you have to go to Sturbridge? No, because you weren't here for elementary school.
No, I was in Jersey when I went to elementary school.
Did you go to the Thomas Edison Museum?
No, I didn't.
Let's quick shift on that one.
No, one of my coolest field trips, though, when I was in Jersey, we went to Ellis Island, and that was
that's sick. Cool. I cannot imagine the stress as a teacher now. Can you imagine the stress of hauling children under your control onto the ferry to Ellis Island?
No, definitely not. I couldn't even handle myself because that was my first time ever on a boat, and my parents gave me one of those disposable cameras that you get from like CBS, and I didn't take many pictures at Ellis Island. I took more pictures of the Manhattan skyline than I did.
I love that, and also I think it speaks volumes about you.
Yeah.
Can I just say how going to Ellis Island is the most immersive experience in New York City? Let me explain why. You go to get your ticket at Fort Clinton. You're buying a ticket onto a boat. You're not exactly sure about the experience you're about to endeavor. You get into the line. And remember, this is federal property. So you have to go through the entire screening process like you're at the airport, the pat-downs, the things, going through the things. You're then stuck in a line with a bunch of people from all over the world, speaking all various kinds of languages at the same time, and you are crammed onto a boat. You are crammed onto this ferry. Every person they can get onto this, and you are then going, and you are now again on this boat with a ton of people from all over the world, speaking all different kinds of languages, as you approach Ellis Island and pass the Statue of Liberty, where you are then told to get off of the boat, go and enter the main hall of Ellis Island. It is the most immersive experience maybe in the world. I was like, wow. I turned to my friend Andrew Diamond, who I went with. I'm like, so is this what our great grandparents did? And it's funny. It's kind, and in the same regard, I'm like half joking about it. Like in the same regard, also, it's like they really found a way to really suck you into it. It's very cool. Very cool.
Well, I don't know what year they actually opened up Ellis Island as a tour, because when I was a kid, it wasn't open yet. You could go to the Statue of Liberty, but you could not go to Ellis Island yet. That wasn't until much later, probably in the 80s, I'm going to say, and I'm guessing, and Corey, you'll look it up while I'm talking. But my mom was a third grader. I know I've mentioned my mother and how wacky she was with stuff, but she was that teacher on Long Island that did take you to not only the Statue of Liberty, she took you to the Bronx Zoo, she took you to the Radio City Music Hall, she took you to Philadelphia to go see the Liberty Bell.
That's
she
awesome.
Took you to Washington, D.C. She took you to the Long Island Game Farm. Every week, those kids got to go to super cool stuff.
By the way, my cousin Matthew works at Fort Clinton.
There you go. But my mom, I got to go with her a few times to the Statue of Liberty. But eventually, when they opened up Ellis Island, my mother and father made a substantial, I guess, donation.
I saw the donation
to the island, and so there is some things with the Riemann family on there, but along with the Bush family and some other prominent names, when you go on that thing and you press and you want to see the pictures of families that came through there and donations, you will see the Riemann family. You'll see that we were there. You'll see a picture of our family there, my mom, my dad, my sister, and I. And it's a really proud thing, and it was really cool to go later in life. I know my mom and dad were like in tears because they were children of the immigrants who got there. So I am not a real Yankee. I'm only second generation. My parents were first generation. My grandparents, came off the boat there to Ellis Island. But we did get to keep the name spelled right, Riemann.
That is the one thing. Our name, going on the boat, leaving the boat, going on the island, off the island. We're not one of those Riemanns with two N's either. We stayed. We remained. God damn it.
So
I'm trying to find it, see if I can get the screenshot up here.
Most of my life, no matter what game I played or anything, I was always Ryman. And if I committed a penalty or a foul, I liked when they said Ryman. That's not me, so I don't know who did it. But yeah, no. The Statue of Liberty was always one of my favorite things. Well, you guys who have all been in my house know that there's about 7 or 8 paintings of the Statue of Liberty throughout the house. We have all the Peter Maxes, and I whenever I look at the Statue of Liberty, I think of my mom. So it's just it's part of the deal.
It's fitting.
But yeah, no, one of the great things, and really cool about New York, and living where we do between Boston and New York, what a great music experience you can have. Dennis, do you travel at all in some of those bands?
Most of the time we play within the state. On Friday I'm playing down in Branford, and coming up we'll be in North Stonington. But mostly within the state. How is it that you end up not playing locally very often?
So we mentioned that thing, the Bash. Between Gig Salad, the Bash, the Bark, and national promoters, we get booked all over. Plus, I probably don't know if I should say this is what it is, but the local guys can't afford us. That's part of it. We because of the reputation of the band, we make a lot of money per play. So a regular bar can't afford to bring us in. For instance, just to throw out there, Wednesday we're getting $2,500 for 4 guys. That's why we don't play locally.
Well, that's brings up something that I did want to mention, was that it's really cool that we can get bands that can get that kind of money, are willing to come down and play in Collinsville, and the concerts in Collinsville are not supported by the town. It's all the music, the Canton Main Street organization. And we really can't pay very much at all. So bands are playing for far less than they normally would. But it's really cool. But I have great bands from all over knocking at my door, wanting to play in Collinsville. So it's a pretty cool thing.
Bill had told me that. Bill said, he's like, dude, I'm getting hit up all the time from places all over the place.
Yeah.
Says a lot to what you and Bill both. Oh, look at that. that came up from the wall on the. That was my my uncle and my grandpa from the wall there. So that's pretty cool. But Yeah, what a neat thing to know that in just 5 years you guys have built up that kind of reputation that so many people and look, like we said, this is a big deal for us. We want to play this gig because we don't play here. We never play here. It's such a great treat to play in front of our friends and family, and you know. The Friday night thing is very cool too, to be at Lasalle Market, to like Corey said, 15
That's
years ago.
like spiritually to me. That's cool. That's my friend Alex Davis, who again, great. I love Alex. He performs all the time in Collinsville at the open mic. We were talking today a little bit. He's like, it's secular.
Cyclical.
Cyclical. Oh, the mother. But no, but yeah, it's gonna be a really cool moment. It's like I've grown up and I absolutely love Eric. I think he's the embodiment of what an open mic host is supposed to be. He was one of the guys who taught me how to be a musician and how to do it the right way and how to be a good guy in the world of music, and getting to kind of say, even for one night, just like, hey, thank you. Can I do the job tonight to can I do my part and say, hey, thank you so much for this town?
Father, he thought he was getting away from Music on Main, and he became the other host of the Market. It's like every time I try to get away, they bring me back.
Bill Corleone.
Yes, Bill Benson Corleone. So, Dennis, do you ever go to Lasalle Market?
To the open mic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I go down there occasionally when they ooh, what happened?
I can hear you. You're here. We got you.
All of a sudden my picture went away. Well, anyway, you can hear me. So they used to have a house band there, and sometimes when their drummer couldn't make it, if they needed someone and I wasn't busy, I would go down and help them out. And basically, we'd use an Octopad, which is like a mini portable electronic drum kit, which is ideal because you can, tone it down for the situation. So, yeah, I go down there from time to time.
Yeah, I remember Mark Barker used to go down and call it his little hockey puck drum kit. It was like this little. Oh yeah, look what we have, the drum machine. I don't know if Dennis could see right now.
Okay, now I can. It's back. Oh yeah, yeah, yep.
But we when Barker left, when he moved down to North Carolina, we bought his little hockey puck kit. So we have that small little kit to this day.
Yeah, sometimes if I play a gig in a small place and it's more of an acoustic thing, I'll just use that. It's compact, doesn't take up a lot of room on the stage, and the sounds are great. So handy thing.
Well, we also learned from Mark Barker, his famous statement was, and Mark listens to the show a lot of times, even in North Carolina, so I'm expecting him to say something. He said, no one ever went home because you weren't loud enough. And that was a great lesson to learn, over the years. And, you talk about how do you get these gigs outside the state and how do you get higher paying gigs? Learn that rule. No one leaves because you weren't loud enough. Because there is a skill to that. And as a drummer, especially, let's face it, the drummer controls everything as far as that goes. If the drummer's too loud, I guarantee you your guitars are going to be too loud and your bass player is going to get too loud and your singer is going to ruin his voice or her voice. So if the drummer does their job correctly, the whole band is in line. So we appreciate our drummers. They're very important. Did you get a hold of Michael?
I sent the man a link, but
well, talking about volume that you play at, one of the things I do enjoy is because I play with so many different bands and so many different kinds of music, but sometimes I'll play with like a jazz trio. And I love it when the music is so quiet that you can play a brush on a cymbal and it's heard. And that's just so cool. You know, the dynamic range, you know, is really cool.
How many drum kits do you own?
I have 3 drum kits. I have a smaller Gretsch kit that I basically end up using most of the time. Then I have my original Rogers vintage drums that I bought brand new in 1972,
Beautiful.
and they don't go out very often. And then I've got my
Understandably.
and then I've got my practice kit. But I have a lot of other configurations like a cajon, and you know, a hand percussion, djembe, the octopad. You know, I got a lot of different configurations depending on what I'm doing.
What cymbals are your cymbal of choice?
I have all Zildjians.
Okay.
Yeah.
We so at NAM when we go there, you know, originally we went just because it was fun, and then we went because Corey wanted to get deals with companies to be you know, sponsored by the different companies, get artist pricing and stuff. And one by one we started getting that, and we started getting some of the sponsorships. But then we learned this other trick. You know, we have the studio, we do a little retail. We started becoming a dealer. So we found out that Zildjian, no matter who you are, you have to go through Harris Teller. Harris Teller is the distributor of all Zildjian
In all of North America.
Huh.
Yep. Now a dealer of Zildjian cymbals.
Mhm.
So if you ever need Zildjian cymbals, we actually are wholesalers for Zildjian. We're actually, and then we also have paste.
Cool.
And Sabian. So we have the three majors. That was one of the things last NAM. Instead of just going and goofing around, Corey played in like 4 or 5 booths. You know, they had him there to play in their booths to show off their products, and he uses their products and gets sponsored by them. But we also took like 15 meetings with companies, and we now sell all these guitars and speaker systems and all the drum kits and all the cymbals and things like that.
Accidental retailers.
Yes.
Hmm. So how do you do?
We have a set of A's, we have a set of S's in here.
The
How
alphabet.
do you do that without a retail? You're wholesaling to retailers.
I'm the child of 2 Jews from Long Island. I have a big mouth.
Okay.
So we do have the home studio, which is a commercial, you know, studio itself, but mainly just through the artists that we know. You know, there's probably 100 or 200 people that we know just through booking and stuff like that. Because one of the other things that we learned in the type of band that the Dilemma is, I never say no to an open date booking. So if there's a booking, look at Corey, he's like, yeah, he never says no. So if
He does
someone in Downingtown, Pennsylvania says, hey, we have a private party, we'll pay for 3 hotel rooms and $2,500 for you guys to get down there, I don't look to see if anybody's available. I know Corey can be there. Done. It's open in the book. And Jack, our bass player, has only missed 1 gig in the past 4 years.
And that was because of Hanson.
Because of Hanson. I mean, you can't. You know,
The boys.
stand up
Listen.
and not go to a Hanson concert.
Actually, excuse me. It was twice. One of them was Frankie Valli, and one of them was Hanson.
Yes. So he has missed 2 gigs, Jack. But you know, with good excuse. But we have 5 separate drummers, all fantastic drummers. Michael Lanos is our #1 drummer, and trying to get him on the show tonight.
Unless he doesn't show up on the show.
then we have about 5 or 6 lead guitar players that we can go in and out. Davey Schultz is our number one guy, but we'll bring in brother Dave. Sometimes Ryan Newman plays for us. Davey Blues. We have another
Graz.
guy, Cliff Graz from Long Island. So we have a very unique system. Those guys all know the songs. They get it out ahead of time. Cody Bondra will jump in with us. So we have a unique system. Like I said, I don't say no to a gig if it's the gig. I don't hold on. Let me call everybody. It's not like that. So that does make it a little bit unique when you ask how do we get so many outside. That's one of the reasons.
It's
But,
also why I have bags under my eyes, but that's okay. I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
You ever block out a week for a vacation or a couple of weeks or?
I unfortunately have friends getting married, and they said they would be very upset with me if I said otherwise.
So I am actually.
I'm one of them. That's next year. That's next year, though.
Yeah. So let's get those dates in soon enough so I can get that in the book.
So I have probably missed in 15 years, about 14 shows?
If that.
If that. I go to every show. I am going to miss one of the biggest shows they're ever going to play. And I'm so annoyed. Lisa and I we're going on a cruise to Alaska, which I'm really excited about.
I mean, you two are turning 60. It's not like you don't deserve to have, at least, excuse me, you're turning 60 and my mother's having a birthday.
We're 12 days apart. We're having the same birthday. So we're going to Alaska, but the band, they're going to be doing a Harry Chapin tribute at Eisenhower Park at the Harry Chapin Theater on Long Island. And I'm so upset that I'm not going to be there, especially the kid growing up on Long Island in the giant park in a theater. That's
Damn, my dad's not going to show up to the show where I play the Cats in the Cradle. How appropriate. Man, you can't show up for the show I play the Cats in the Cradle in.
No
God.
No one can.
No, you're just lame. Everyone else gets the joke.
It's a good song.
It's a great song.
I mean,
It's so sad, though.
So his wife wrote the lyrics, by the way. Let it be known.
Oh.
His wife wrote like this poem about like, hi, you're on tour too much and you have babies at home. What's gonna happen? And he was like, this is really good. Wait, let me put, he's an intro, and I think we might have to do just a DIlem-Monday on Harry Chapin himself. The dude is fascinating. Started off as a filmmaker.
I saw him live, by the way.
Okay. So
Yeah.
do tell.
Go ahead.
He played at the Welty Auditorium at Central Connecticut State University. Well, it was college back then. Yeah, I saw him live there while I was going there.
Oh God!
What a band! I love the cello.
That is like the biggest part of this was, I was like, I need to find a cello player because I'm like, I'm not doing this without those songs.
So we got to get Isabel to come on the show one day.
Yeah, when we do our Harry Chapin show.
So we needed to have a cello player. So I went on what's it, Band Mix?
Yeah.
And
the one time it actually worked.
I was looking for cello players, and that's like, there's a lot of people who really disappoint me. There's Bobby, he's on, but the what was I gonna say? I saw this woman. She's French, Isabelle, and she played the cello and the fiddle and the violin, and she's a piano.
She's the
player.
whole orchestra.
Yes, and she's a lovely, wonderful woman. She owns Westfield Music, and she will be our cello player for the Harry Chapin deal. And she's been diligently practicing, and because trying to get music for Harry Chapin stuff is very, very difficult. You can't get it.
Like the actual like sheet music.
Yeah.
I'm like learning a lot about Harry Chapin throughout this process. Like, damn, he must have been a nightmare to deal with in the studio. Because like you could clearly tell this is like totally him going to his friends who are like cello players, like, jam, just do what you do. And it's like, and I can only imagine, like, what do you want? I want you to play cello, and I'm gonna play the guitar, and yeah.
And you know, we tried, like, even our sources, because we represent Hal Leonard also, so not just Harris Taylor, we represent Hal Leonard, and Hal Leonard's the largest music sheet people in the world.
No cello music.
No cello music at all. So in Dilemma-Monday land, if any of you have sheet music for Harry Chapin, please,
Or access to any of the Chapin brothers, frankly.
yeah, we would love some of the sheet music. But we've been practicing, you know, every single week.
I think I'm gonna, by the way, for Dilemma-Monday, I think I'm gonna start doing an album recommendation of the week. This just came to me now. And with that in mind, I think my album recommendation to everybody is Harry Chapin's Greatest Stories Live. A phenomenal work where you get to witness not just the incomparable songwriting skills and the gorgeous voice that he and his brothers and his whole band had, but you get to witness the humor this guy had too. Like, he was hysterical, and like he would change his own lyrics on stage, like just on the drop of the hat, to like just like fit wherever he was. Like he would find out whatever radio station was the closest to him. Whenever he would do WOLD, he would change it to whatever the call letters of the radio station was. So that was cool. And he would make like and the jokes he would tell, even like in the middle of his songs, he would just be vamping on the guitar and just start telling jokes.
So is he in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
No, and it's bullshit that he's not. And now that I was going to say, now that I don't have Warren Zevon to complain about, let's get fucking Harry Chapin into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right. We you know, you succeeded in getting, you know,
Warren Zevon, the fucking.
So now I think Harry Chapin. By the way, so I always loved Cats in the Cradle. There was just as James said, it makes you cry. It's just such a
so sad
feeling song. But you know, I didn't remember WOLD, and then we did a recording of WOLD, and what a great song! That is absolutely my favorite Chapin song now,
and possibly even sadder than Cats in the Cradle.
But it's just such a well written. It's got motion to it. It's just a great song, and the drumming in it. It's just a really good song. So yeah, I think we need to go on a Harry Chapin. You know, if what's his name? What's the one I would if Cat Stevens is in the Hall of Fame, then damn it, Harry Chapin should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm going with that one.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Like, absolutely. I mean, I think he belongs in it. The man invented the story song. Like, that was his thing. Like, let's just tell a story and then just play behind it.
Where you went, or you were just going to college and like, hey, this dude Harry Chapin's showing up. I'm gonna just go.
I loved his music. One of his favorite songs. I don't know. I can't remember the name of it, but it's about like a sniper that gets that's taking out all these people at a college campus, like getting up and talk about a story, man. You got to listen to that song.
Oh my God! Wait, no, it was about the thing in Texas that one time. But oh my God! Oh my Lord!
I just remember I was in high school when he died. So I've told this story before, but my dad's company, my dad had just met with Harry Chapin like a week before he had passed away. He had donated because he was such a philanthropist, Harry, all these great causes and stuff. And my dad's company had raised
Sniper, by the way, is the name of the song.
Yeah, yeah.
And he had raised money and gave it to him like a week beforehand. So my dad was kind of devastated when Harry passed away. And I just remember practicing track practice. But yeah, it's 9:26. I realized this night went really fast.
Yeah.
So
that's been a theme lately.
Yeah, I know. We have to. At the end of our show, we do promotions. So tell us what you're promoting this week.
Who?
You.
Me. What I'm promoting?
Yes. At the end.
I'm promoting the Dilemma Band Saturday night at the Slab, hopefully, and if not, at the Crown and Hammer.
Exactly. Are you going to be playing it all this weekend?
I'm playing Friday night in Brantford.
Okay. Is it a public or a private?
It's like towns have the outdoor concerts.
Oh yeah.
Brantford, big outdoor concert, and it's with a 18-piece jazz band.
Ooh,
that sounds fun.
Sounds really
cool. There's nothing like playing drums for a big band like that because, first of all, you're reading the music, but all the hits and accents and everything, the drummer's got to set it all up. So it's really a lot of fun.
Fantastic. So do you use in-ear?
No.
No. So you're still a monitor guy, or you just
go with it?
Yeah, we're just old school. Listen to the band, play with the band.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's how you do it. James, what are you promoting, man?
All right. Well, latest episode of my podcast, Common Everyday People. A little bit emotional, to say the least. I actually commemorated the last episode to one of my game pigs who passed away last Tuesday. So we talk a little bit about like memories and all that. Although Corey might like this, we talk about favorite beer in the beginning.
Jawohl.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, I went out on Friday night with a couple of friends, and we actually had this this like sour beer at J. Timothy's. It was like really, really good though.
Ooh.
There you go.
Yeah. So up and down roller coaster emotions kind of episode, to say the least.
All right. So
as beer does to people. I'm sorry about the guinea pig. Those guys were cute. I'm sorry.
Nah, it was hard. I had to call out of work on Tuesday. Take her to the vet. She ended up dying at the vet.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
sorry.
rough. It's okay. I cried all day on Tuesday and cried 6 times on Wednesday, and
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and we're picking up her ashes tomorrow too. So.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
This is why I didn't allow pets in the house. I can't take that.
It's hard, but obviously it's going to take time, and that's all I can say.
Well, we love you. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So to watch James
yeah,
years, and then he'll get you drinking your favorite beer. So
yeah.
Corey, what are you promoting this weekend?
As I said, I'm not going to promote anything. I'm going to do my new segment, Album of the Week. I recommend everybody check out this album, this phenomenal album, Harry Chapin's Greatest Stories Live. You're getting pretty much the greatest hits of Harry Chapin, along with his humor, his poet pirate sensibilities, everything about him, what made him just so freaking cool, on top of an album cover that catches the man, I think, perfectly. In motion, in the moment, with the cello behind him. Like, right. I love this album. It's going to probably end up being my number 1 album on my Apple Music year in review. But love it. I'm promoting Harry Chapin's Greatest Stories Live. Stream it now.
So, as usual, I will promote the Dilemma Band as it goes on. So, Wednesday, we'll start there. we will be up in Clinton, New York. I don't know why I lose my voice every week right around this point.
You're
So,
loud.
Clinton, New York at Hamilton College. We're playing for their graduation weekend. It's going to be a few thousand people. It's going to be a blast. I think we have Brother Dave with us. Maybe Jimmy, maybe Michael at drums. We're not sure yet. And Corey and Jack and I will be there. But Friday, open micers, people who want to play some original songs. Friday night, Lasalle Market. The first time ever, Corey Riemann will be host. So why don't you show up? It'll be cool. But the most important gig and the most important thing, Saturday night, we will be starting at 6 o'clock, hopefully on the slab, but otherwise we're at Lisa's Crown and Hammer. And we will have 3 hours of fantastic music right on Music on Main. Dennis is the person who's in charge of the whole thing. It's going to be the first of the series. We are super excited about it. Bring chairs. That's the first thing I need to tell people.
Yes.
Bring chairs.
Bring chairs. Bring a bucket of some things to drink. Maybe an
Libations.
Get some ice cream.
Get some ice cream. Get a sandwich. Get some pizza.
But get there early because you will see that the
It
crowd-
gets busy.
Bring your dog. It makes me a lot happier when you bring your dog.
So dogs are allowed. There will probably be a Naya outing. Naya.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Will probably be there, I am sure. She might even be on stage. There's always a Naya appearance.
Naya, the rock and roll dog.
Yes, she went from the Rolling Stones to the Dilemma. So yeah, she's probably the most popular person on the stage.
That dog has seen more action than any of us.
But in any case, super excited. And then Sunday, the Dilemma Band has a private show in Greenwich, Connecticut. So we have a pretty big week. We're on the road. You got 4 shows this week, so you're going to be a busy guy.
What can I say? I make it happen.
Yeah, no, we're super excited though, and Collinsville, we're looking forward to it. And come by, make sure you say hello to Dennis. Tell him how much you appreciate that he's running this thing. And to be honest, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. It's such a last minute thing. We so appreciated it.
You're welcome. A pleasure.
All right, guys.
Looking forward to the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He might have to jump on the drums for a song or something.
We might make that happen. I might put you on the spot. I don't know.
All right.
Be on your toes. But with that in mind, everybody, enjoy every sandwich. It was great to see you all. We'll see you next week for our barbecue of DIlem-Monday. We love you. Catch you on the flip side.
All right.